we are going to talk about theme right now. Theme is something that every English teacher loves. Most students absolutely hate. So please know as we go into this that I know perfectly well that you are rolling your eyes because you don't care. Okay. Um, the reason theme is so important, though, is it gives stories, poems, movies, whatever you're talking about, it gives them meaning. Um, and I know there's the argument of why can't it just be fun, and that is true. Sometimes it is fun just to get lost in a story or a movie or a TV show or poem, whatever. Okay, and I understand that completely. I've let you do that so far. However, it is time to start thinking about themes. So I want you to think about the book that you have been reading. Okay, you're a good chunk of the way through it so far. And so that's why we are talking about theme now. You've read enough of it that you can kind of start to see. So theme is it's kind of like the underlying idea. And every book, movie, most TV shows, most short stories have lots of different themes. If it's something really, really short or really, really shallow, it might only have one. But most works of literature and movies and TV shows, all of that, have lots of different themes. One thing that is really important to remember is that you may see a completely different theme than I see. And the theme that you see in the book that you're reading right now might be different to you now. The themes that you pick out now might be different than if you read it again in 20 years. Um, so theme, like I said, it's the underlying idea, and it's just something that kind of adds a little extra meaning. So if you look at Harry Potter, there are a lot of different themes that are possible. One of the obvious ones is friendship. um, Friendship is a big theme in Harry Potter because before Harry has friends in the wizarding world, he's extremely alone, he's miserable. Then he makes friends, and because he makes friends, he finds courage, he finds, kind of that inner strength, that inner fortitude, all of that stuff. Um, and same thing with Ron and Hermione. They are both much better because of the friendships that they make. Um, Hermione learns to focus more on people than just books and book smarts. Just things like that. There are a lot of other themes that you could find in Harry Potter. There's the standard good versus evil. That's a pretty standard one that you can find in almost any book. Some books you might be talking evil, like evil wizards in Harry Potter, and some the evil might just be, yes, there are bad guys out there who are going to commit crime. Yeah, and that crime might be something small like forgery, and not that forgery isn't a big crime. It's a lot different than some of the stuff Voldemort does. Um, so that's one of those kind of overarching themes. Another overarching theme that is found in many, many, many works of literature is the idea of man versus nature. So that's the idea that the main character in some way has to fight against nature. It might be a storm, it might be like an unforgiving wilderness or a scary forest. Maybe your main character's lost in Antarctica, in which case it would be things like the ice and that kind of stuff. So you have a lot of those kind of universal themes. And when you get to the assignment after you've watched this video, it is okay to use one of those universal themes if you want to. Um, but I would prefer that you find one that's a little bit more meaningful to you. So, for example, in Harry Potter, something that's going to be important in your life right now is going to be things like friendship. Another important theme in Harry Potter is the theme of family and what is family. Yes, his actual blood relatives are the Dursleys, but are they really his family? They're abusive and they're mean and they're cruel and they make him feel like he's nothing. Whereas he gets to Hogwarts and his family there is his friends, and then it's also people like Hagrid and the professors and Dumbledore, and even the owl, even Hedwig is part of his family. So that's a very important theme. When I first read Harry Potter, the only real kind of personal theme that I picked up on was that of friendship. Then of course there's the obvious, there's the good versus evil, that kind of thing. Um, but I didn't really pick up on the family issue until now. Now I'm a mom. I have 4 little girls, and the thought of someone treating my kids the way the Dursleys treat Harry is just heartbreaking. More so than it was when I first read the book 20 years ago. And so to me right now, that's the first theme that I pick out beyond the good versus evil, is the one of family. So look at the book that you have been reading, and I want you to try to pick up some kind of theme. And like I said, if you can go beyond the good versus evil and some of those slightly more obvious, because in all 3 novel choices for this fantasy unit, the theme of good versus evil, that's pretty obvious. It's there. It's definitely there. And so I would prefer if you would try to reach beyond that. But there are lots of possible themes, things like family and friendship. The theme of courage comes into a lot of these stories. Then you also have themes such as, like I said, what is family? And, what does it mean to belong? There's a lot of those types of things. So see if you can find some kind of theme in the book that you are reading. If possible, please try to make it one that is kind of something that you can relate to, something that's pertinent to your life right now. And that may be different than what you would have said a year ago, or that you would say a year in the future. It may even be different than what you would have said last week. That's perfectly fine. Okay, but try to find a theme in the book that relates to your life right now, right this moment when you're doing this assignment.